All right. Says that we are live. Let me check YouTube. All right, man. Here we go.
Okay.
There we go. We're live, bro. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's Monday.
It
It's the
is.
end of the month. And I'm doing good. I'm a little bummed out about, you know who David Blaine is?
Yeah, the magician.
Do you know that new stunt he's doing?
No, I don't.
All right. So he's doing a new stunt called Ascension. And what he's going to be doing is, you've seen the movie Up, right? Pixar?
Yeah, the balloons. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's pretty much doing that. Instead of a house, it's going to be him holding onto balloons that are filled with, I think, helium. And he's just going to be floating up, holding onto the balloons. And then there's a, what do you call it? The parachute is inside the balloons.
So he has to pop the balloons to get the parachute out.
I either pop them or move them out of the way to get the parachute out while thousands of feet in the air, put on the parachute, and then pop the balloons, and then go down. His goal is to get, I think, as high as Mount Everest, however high that is.
Well, it's 2020 and things haven't been going to plan, so I don't know if this is the right time to be trying new stunts. But
He was supposed to do it in New York, but then the weather conditions weren't great, so he had to go to Arizona. He was supposed to do it today, but the weather conditions again pushed it back to 2 days from now. So
weather
we'll
conditions
see.
are God.
Telling him not to. Oh man. Well, hey man, thanks for jumping on the relaunch of Radio Faith. You are episode 27,
Oh
and
wow.
we've been talking about this for a while, and I'm just glad that we're finally doing it. It is good to have you on. So what's been going on with you?
Man, I can tell people everything and nothing. I feel like.
Tell what you want, man.
And start. So said, it's COVID season has given people a lot of time. So I've been working on music and projects, pushing that, which is funny because it took a pandemic for me to push all this. All this is stuff that I've worked on before, but it just sits in a Google Drive or Dropbox folder. And then we have a pandemic, and I'm like, oh, let's let's actually do something with this. So thanks,
Hey,
COVID.
Matt. Hey, can you bring the mic either closer to you, or I guess bump up
Is
on
this
the
better?
software? Yeah, that's a little better.
Oh, hello. All right,
There we go.
second.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. All right, cool, cool. Yeah, man, I'm in the same position as far as, like you said, it takes a pandemic to get things rolling. Same thing. My drive is full of music that needs to be finished and artwork and projects. This is one of them. You
Yes.
know, like I said, we've been talking about it for a while. I
We're
started
working on a
radio.
project now.
You and I think two projects, and every time I get
Yes.
an idea, I send it over to you.
Yes. Trust. Be
There
on the
you go. Yeah,
lookout.
yeah. Once we get the beat down,
Yes.
get the audio, the vocals recorded, and everything. Hey, speaking of projects, I don't know. Are you able to talk about the project you're working on with a certain musician, local musician?
Yes, that we can talk
Yeah.
plenty about. Working with an artist. Her name is Viray. Local musician here, Houston, Texas. We have a single out called Island Breeze. So definitely check that out. It's a fun song. I would like to call it the song of our generation.
It's a cool song.
It,
It you pronounce it Viray?
yes, Viray.
Cool. What's her handle?
Um,
Is
Hold
it
on, I'm
V?
about to tell you now. I think it's Viray at Viray MSC.
Okay.
Yeah, Viray MSC, like music.
Okay.
V-
Cool.
yeah,
Can you spell it?
VIRAYMSC.
Cool. Cool. And
Yeah.
then so you produce that music, right?
Yes, and then we've got another song coming out.
you, you see,
yeah.
Riley.
Yes.
Hold on, let me see if I can put that. How do I put that? There you go. We're laughing because Jay
Uh,
Riley just jumped on the feed. He's asking KJ where his music is at.
hey, hit me up. Maybe we can work something out. Some free chicken and waffles or something. Maybe put my name on the chairs that y'all are building. Something we can. But yeah,
I
so I produced that track. Uh, huh?
No, go ahead. You produced that track.
Okay. Yes, I produced that track, and then she has another single coming out on September 11th.
Oh, nice. So
Yes.
is there any significance to that on it
No,
coming out 9/11?
I asked her when she said, "Yeah, I want to drop it on September 11th." I was like, "All right, is there a certain reason why?" And she just said, "No, that just happened to be the the day." Yeah.
Cool, cool. Yeah. Hey, it's funny. I was talking about producing music. I was talking to Riley about
Okay.
music, and I mentioned I was interviewing you today. He said, man, tell he said, tell that sapsucker where's my music at. No, he said he
Oh,
wants to connect with you to get a project going, and he said
let's do it.
he'll trade you some waffles. He's going to be interviewed next tomorrow,
Oh
so
man. All right, I'll be on there and I'm gonna be like, "Where's my chicken?"
that's gonna be good. Yeah. So hey, if check out Viray, right? That's how you say it,
Yes.
Viray, and then KJ's work. He was a producer on that project. It's called Island Breeze. It's on Spotify, pretty much anywhere music is sold online, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's cool. And then you said you're working on, y'all are finishing up another project that's going to be released on September 11th, and that's
Yes.
coming out. And the music video, when is that going to be released on the exact same day, or is that a different day?
No, so we had a couple music videos and EP singles, all that's kind of lined up. Something's going to happen each month. So
Oh,
the
nice.
song is going to be dropped September 11th, and then the music video I think will be dropped the following month.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, that makes it just to keep the ball rolling.
Right. Right.
So, are you working with anyone else, or are you doing any other personal projects with music or anything else right now that you're at liberty to discuss?
Um, music projects. No, she's the main one, and then I think it's funny as Christian musicians, we never really have bands. We just have like the same group of people we always go to and do stuff together with, but it's
That's
not a
cool.
band. Yeah, so got that. Um, Working on, I guess, some production stuff. So people stay tuned for that. Yeah, we got some things in the pipeline. It's gonna be
That's
good.
awesome, man. So, what got you into music from where from the beginning of it to now where you're producing music for other people and working on your own stuff?
Um, Guitar Hero. I call myself the Guitar Hero generation because I think a lot of guys in my age kind of had the same story. Guitar Hero, when I was maybe about 10 or 11, was really big. Guitar Hero and Rock Band. And I started playing that, and not to brag, but I got pretty good at it pretty fast. And then I got bored. I was just like, okay, this is boring. And I was like, let me try the real thing. And my dad had a guitar and a bass laying in a closet under a bunch of junk. And if you guys know your brands, he had a Strat copy and then a Yamaha 4-string bass. I didn't know the difference, but I picked up the 4-string bass because it had like a sparkly blue finish, and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool." I didn't know there was a difference. Yeah, and just started YouTubing how to play songs. The first song I learned was Michael Jackson "Beat It."
Nice. And that was
Yeah.
on the bass.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And
And so, how long since then? How long have you been playing?
um, shoot, I started when I was 12. I'm about to be 26. So yeah, it's been a nice little minute. About 14 years.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
cool. So you play guitar and bass. Any other instruments?
I play a little bit of keys
Okay.
too.
Cool.
So I'm not the best at it, but doing all this producing has definitely kind of pushed me up to it. It's funny. I have a friend. Actually, I went in. He called me last minute because he's about to have a baby.
Hmm.
So congratulations to Ricky. I don't know if you're gonna see this, but so it's like, hey man, I can't be there. I think I'm gonna have a baby tomorrow, which he didn't. But it's like, can you fill in for me on keys? And I'm not really a piano player, but I know my basic four chords, and I stay in my four chord corner.
Just be. Was it a Christian set that you were doing for a
Yeah.
church? So what was it? One
Yes.
four
Yeah.
five four.
Church. Yeah. Pretty
One
much.
four five
Pretty
four.
much. The one song we did it was like the Lord by Highlands, which I guess as
Okay.
far as CCM goes, that's a very creative song because it has all these different chords that go out of the scale. And I'm like, the one time I get called for keys, you want to use like 25 chords, and I really have to study. And to
That's
put
funny.
your perspective, up until yesterday, I've played piano for a service one time.
Okay, so you played yesterday, or you said up until?
So yesterday I did, but before yesterday,
Okay,
I've only
gotcha,
played
gotcha.
piano one time for a service.
I gotcha. Cool. Hey, man. I think um, every musician can claim to some degree that they play keys, but I think other musicians realize, oh, you know how to play C, and then move your finger out down.
Yeah, okay.
Down.
I'll say I can't play piano. I know theory and how to use it to my advantage.
There you go.
That
There.
and I use main stage, and so there's a lot of cool sounds you can get. And so my plan was going in. If I can get a lot of good sounds, people will be more impressed about literally how it sounds than what I'm playing.
So you said you know theory. Do you know how to read music?
No, I don't.
Okay.
That's the one thing. And there's always the running joke about guitar players we never know theory. So no, I cannot read, but use the number system. And
Yeah,
my biggest asset is my ears.
that's good. I'm one of the musician, the guitarist that doesn't read music. I mean, I could sit down with it for a while and then figure out what the first measure was, you know, after looking at it for a long time, but I can't sight read for anything with when it comes to any kind of music.
I can't even do that either. When I first started, my first instrument was the bell kit, so which essentially is a xylophone, and
Mm,
they made us learn sheet music, and I started learning it, but then I I think I stopped after 2 or 3 months, and I haven't touched it since, and that was maybe about 10 years ago.
gotcha. And so you've been playing music for on the guitar for about, you said, 14 years or so, and you're teaching music as well,
Yes.
right? Well, how long have you been teaching, and how's that going?
Teaching. Um, Laughing at Riley here. He said no piano on his track. Don't worry, we got you. It'll be good if put some piano on there.
He's gonna want more cowbell.
Yeah, I can do that. We actually have a song coming out with cowbell, so be ready for that. But no, I've been teaching for it's 2020, so maybe about 7 years.
Okay,
Well,
nice.
I guess professionally we could say 7 years, but I feel like literally about 2 months after I started learning guitar and bass, people were starting asking me, and so to an extent, I've been probably teaching as long as I've been playing, but
Cool.
professionally, that's 7 years.
That's cool. How has the pandemic affected your teaching schedule, or that just that business model?
For us personally, drastically. So I had maybe about 8 or 9 students at the beginning of the year, and now I have two.
Oh well.
Yeah.
And is that because transportation, or they like? Well, I guess something like are they adult students, teenage students?
It's a mix. I've got younger kids, adults, um, some in their 40s or 50s, and then yeah, just
Okay.
all age. And it would be, I would say, mainly just because a lot of people are getting put out of work or less hours,
Mm,
and
okay.
we had one student that had been doing it all the way through, and he was just like, "Hey, I want to take a break." But the
Gotcha.
rest of a lot of it's, my mom or dad got laid off or they're not working as much. And so, unfortunately, when it comes to stuff like that, music lessons tend to be one of the first things you tend to
Yeah.
cut to save money, which is understandable.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So there's no income coming through, and then like you said, the students just drop out. And you get those two, and I'm guessing it's is it virtual, like similar to what we're doing now, where you're teaching them
Yes.
through Zoom and whatever.
Yes.
Okay. How's that? How has that experience been for you, I guess morphing the way you teach? Because it's guitar, it's so much, I think, easier to teach, or any instrument, when you're there in the room with the person, and
Yes.
you're able to like help them with in guitar, like where their finger positions are and everything. How has that grown
So
you as a teacher?
honestly, it hasn't really been too hard because I think um, both of the students I've left was funny enough. One of them is a piano student. I know basic piano, so
Mhm.
if you have somebody that's never played, I can teach you the basics. And so I have
Okay.
one piano student and one guitar student, and I don't think it's made it too hard because they both I was teaching before the pandemic and they already knew their stuff. So I think it's easier to teach when it's not fresh new versus somebody
Okay.
brand new and you have to start from scratch because there's a lot of stuff with fingering positions and how you handle the instrument that you
Okay.
can teach online but doesn't translate as well.
Gotcha. So they already had some time under their belt, so they were able to just go through.
Correct.
So in that case, what is it that you, if you're teaching someone that's advanced, like these two people, or have some, they're not considered beginners or novice. What is it that you teach them? Is it a little bit of theory? Is it the different progressions, or what?
So me personally, I try to teach theory right off the bat.
Okay.
For me, I like using the number system.
Hmm.
I learned that later on in life, and it was such a weird and foreign thing to me. But I feel like if you teach that first, it's not foreign. It's just like people that are born, they speak Chinese. It's for me that'd be weird to learn, but for them
Hmm.
that's normal because they were raised up speaking Chinese. So I try to
I
use the
gotcha.
same thought process with teaching, but more, I guess, intermediate students. I guess we start going over voicings and more of what the role of that instrument is. So you can play a million notes per second, but maybe that doesn't fit in the role of the recording or the band you're playing with. So I try to focus more on that, voicings of chords, how to make your instrument really fit in place with what you're doing.
Cool, man. That's cool. You mentioned that it was Guitar Hero that kind of prompted you to learn how to play the guitar once you had defeated the game. Your dad had a guitar and bass. What were there any, and if so, were there any musicians that you saw, maybe like you knew personally or just saw online, that inspired you to go further, or that you said, okay, hey, I want to learn how to play like this person? Was there anybody
And
like that in your life?
yes, I grew up in a black gospel church, and the musicians there, um, specifically two of them. One's a drummer. His name was Eric Fountain, and the guitar player, his name was Mark Price. Some of the best musicians ever, and just going there every Sunday. My dad was in choir, so I'd go there Wednesday night for rehearsal, and while they're practicing, I would go sit behind the musicians and see what the guitar players doing. And they were really cool people. They kind of took me in their wing, and like most musicians, they play on Sunday and then they gig different places during the weekend. A lot of times they're like, "Hey, you want to come hang with me? I'm going to go play at this place." I don't know if it's a good thing, but I was going to bars when I was like 14, 15 years old. Yeah, but it was, they were like, hey, basically they kind of tricked me into doing free roadie work. But because I was so young and just so amazed, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll carry your drums in. What else you need to do? But that that really pushed me
Yeah.
seeing
That's
those
cool,
two.
man.
Yes.
That's awesome. How so did they end up teaching you like formally, or was it you just like shadowing them and seeing what they do?
Shadowing them
Okay.
because and then so about 2 or 3 months after I started playing, and so my background, I first started off playing heavy metal,
Okay.
Metallica, Black Sabbath, and the church I grew up in played gospel, and I didn't know anything about it. And these musicians are using the number system. The
Hmm.
worship leader there, he heard that I could play bass. And keep in mind, all the musicians on the team are like these paid professional musicians, like 40, 50, 60 years old. They can play literally everything. And then you got this kid that's like 12 years, has like 3 months of experience, that plays heavy metal, playing in a gospel band. And that that really pushed me.
That's fine. They just threw you right into the deep end.
They did. He was like, "Oh, your parents said you can play bass. You're on schedule now." I was just like, "Okay." Yeah, it
Decline
was
that
rough.
PCO.
Yeah, we didn't have PCO, so back
No
then
PCO.
we just used the Dropbox. He's like, here's the Dropbox link with all the songs and the lyrics. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but there's not a lot of sheet music or numbers for gospel music, so you just have to figure it out by ear. And my ear
Yeah,
wasn't really trained that well.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
rough.
Yeah. Gospel music is just the level of improv that's
Yes.
involved to some degree, like with the fills and whatever it may be. Yeah, that takes a certain skill set, and then you're surrounded with, like you said, professionals, people that have been playing for decades. That reminds me of the story when I when I started playing the guitar. I think I was 14, and maybe I only had like a year or two under my belt. And my friend invited me to the jazz club that I was at the school.
Yeah.
First time I had ever seen the jazz standard book. First time I had ever seen like just that type of music, the way it's written out. And of course, people are looking at you, waiting for you to do something with your with your guitar.
Yep.
And like, I don't even know how to play the rhythms that you are doing right now. It's yeah, getting thrown into the deep end like that. It pushes you. You're either
It
gonna shy away or you're gonna you know rise to the
it
challenge.
does it. So I did both. So first, I knew I couldn't learn all those songs each weekend. I would make excuses, or I would say that I learned it, and then I would break like my guitar cable, or intentionally break a bass string. And if y'all don't know, that's a hard thing to do. Right before in the middle of service, they're like, "Oh shoot, my chord just broke. I can't play." Or if it was like the last song that I didn't know, I'd play the whole set. Doing that last song, oh, my bass isn't working. I don't know what happened.
It came unplugged.
Yes. How did that? Oh, I can't fix it till this song is over. Yeah, there was a lot of that going on, but it
That's what
pushed me.
I would do that. The times I would lead worship and youth ministry, and I'd forget the lyrics to the songs. I have the microphone, in my hand, and when I forget, you just back away and you raise your hands up. That's acceptable, in worship
Yeah,
because like, oh, he's feeling the spirit. Like, no, I just forgot.
yeah. My favorite is to tell the congregation, sing a new song to the Lord, church, because I don't know this
Because
one.
I don't know this one. I
Yes,
forgot the lyrics. Or if you make up lyrics, that's perfectly fine in worship music too,
that's
because
true.
you were
No,
just
he's being
feeling
spontaneous. He's in the spirit. No,
spontaneous worship.
he just forgot the lyrics and he's trying to cover himself.
Man, that's so funny. That's so funny. I think we've all been there before. It's just I think it's easier. It definitely is easier to get away with it when you're in a worship set because
That's
even if
true.
even if you don't know the song as a musician, you can put your hands down and pretend you're praying.
Oh yeah,
Like, oh, I just couldn't. I just needed to absorb the
yeah,
worship. Like, you didn't know the song.
yeah. It's funny. The drummer forgets the rhythm. He just stops playing and gets down. It's like, oh, the drummer's really into it.
Just lift your hand and start crying, but he's really crying because he forgot the song.
That was also me. There are many times I would cry during service. People thought the spirit hit me, but no, I was just mad at myself because I didn't learn the song.
I know that feeling, man. I know that we I grew up in a Spanish Baptist church, so
That's
we
an
had
interesting
the
combination.
we had the the was it corritos,
Yeah.
the Spanish folk guitar music. Our
Dun, dun, dun,
guitar,
dun, dun,
there
dun.
you go. Our guitar ensemble was the rondalla,
Oh,
and they just have that basic Spanish that's strumming, but we had some phenomenal guitar players there. Just being able to follow them. They were the style of guitar playing where they never played the same song uh, the same way twice.
uh huh.
The basic structure, but everything was like okay. Uh, you ask him, hey, what about that lick you played? Like, I don't know what lick you're talking about. I just played the song, but yeah, they were really good. It's so cool to be surrounded by that, growing up, and inspired by those people that lovingly push you
Right.
to the next level. So you grew up in church around worship music, and I know recently you mentioned how you were playing at a church this past Sunday. What experience have you had in pouring into others in the worship scene, church scene? in their craftsmanship with whatever instrument they have. You being where you were at, as you mentioned, like 14 years ago, and having these mentors in your life, and now you kind of having that mentor role. What has
Yes,
that been like for you?
because being able to be in the mentor role.
Yeah, yeah, like teaching people
Uh,
in the worship scene.
no, it's just funny because you look at it, it's like full circle. You start off at one place, and now you're find yourself on the other side. It's kind of like when you lose weight and you don't see it because you see yourself every day, and then
Mm,
somebody comes to see you. It's like, oh man, you lost all that weight, and you're just like, oh, I don't see it. But
yeah.
yeah, it's the same thing. Being able to be in, uh, may, will maybe be in a church or literally just somebody looking at you as mentor. It's interesting because it pushes you to learn your stuff because you can't teach people if you don't know what to teach.
Mm, yeah.
Musically and then spiritually too, it kind of holds you accountable because you've got people that are looking up to you, and it's like, all right, well, if I'm out here doing this or that, then are they gonna look at me different, or maybe not even look at me different, but how does that affect them? Because if they're looking at me and thinking what I do is okay, and then I go out and do something, are they gonna go out and follow that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, not yeah, you're right. Not only does it push you as a musician, your skill set, but like you said, that spiritual accountability of not even like, oh, I need to do all right because people are watching, but just the level of integrity of when people aren't watching, and knowing, you're accountable not only to the people that you're mentoring, but the people. I mean, God Himself, who's who we are primarily accountable. What has been the in that time of mentorship when you realize, okay, I'm no longer, you're always a student, but now I'm
Right.
also a mentor. What has been, or what have been a few lessons, or leadership lessons you've had during that time?
Uh, that I've given or that I've learned.
Oh yeah, that you've learned. Sorry, that you've learned.
One, that people are always watching you.
Mm,
Um, playing at a big size church, um, that and just I've been lucky and blessed enough to be able to play and meet different people, far as I guess different fame levels from local to more world renowned, um, bigger churches, small churches. And so, your face and name starts getting around. I'm not saying that I'm famous or anything, but there are a few times when I walk around somewhere, somebody literally just say, "Oh, you're that guitar player," and
yeah,
I'm just like, "No, I'm that guitar player." But uh, it goes back to what I was saying before. You really have to watch what you do because people um, are always watching. So that's one of the biggest things that I've learned. Um, and then I think the other thing I said really just I push myself to learn more with music,
hmm
so that way, when people come to me for information, either I can give it to them or direct somebody to it. Like I know a decent amount, but we're all still students. So one of my things I'm trying to figure out and learn now is modes. Um,
yeah, guitar
that,
mode. Yeah, modes in
yeah,
general. Yeah,
yeah. So with the music we play CCM, you really don't have to worry about that. You have four
hmm
chords, and you're gonna play those four chords for the rest of your life.
just staying
So
amazed.
I started playing gospel music, and then I went to CCM, and I feel like that kind of took me down a little bit because it was like all this crazy jazz stuff that I was doing. It's like throw that out the window. Four
Yeah,
chords, stay there. And so now I'm trying to like I guess go back to my fundamentals that I have, and one of the biggest things that I'm trying to understand is modes and how to apply them in music.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, modes are fun, but like you said with CCM, it's usually you stay in the major scale and you're okay.
Yeah,
Um, Man, yeah, modes are fun. If you don't know what modes are, look it up. If you're a guitarist or just a musician
same.
in general, it's
I
it's
will.
really it's really really fun.
If I don't know
All
what they are, I will look them up afterwards.
right. Cool, man. Hey, well, I just again thank you so much for being on Radio Faith. This is the first time I've ever gone live, and I really appreciate having you on here. We'll do it again soon. Your episode number 27. And if you have any questions or you want to get a hold of KJ and maybe hit him up for some guitar lessons, how do they do that, KJ?
You can find me on my Instagram handle, which is, I should know this honestly, KJ Wright TX.
KJ Wright, and it's W R I
WRIGHT.
G H T T X.
Yes.
KJ Wright TX. I'll put the
TX.
your handle. I'll put your handle in the description on this video. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, they can do that there. Cool. Well, hey man,
Awesome.
again, thank you so much for being on Radio Faith. I really appreciate it, and just God bless you and everything you're doing with the students that you're teaching, and then everything you're doing with within the church, and then with everybody that's been reaching out to you for producing music. I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
what you're gonna what's coming down the line.
Also, guys, check out which one's the first projects we did. Tapestry by
Oh yeah,
Vapor. I posted a story
that's
on
right.
Instagram with the song on it. I was listening back. I'm like, man, this is a good song.
That's right. Yeah. So before we head out, KJ and I worked on a song last year, I think,
Yeah.
called Tapestry. I'll put that in the link as well as along with the was it Island Breeze,
Yes,
or the
Island
song we
Breeze.
mentioned at the beginning of this the show. So I'll put those links in the description, and share this video, subscribe, click notification, follow KJ, and we will see you next time. Thank you.